You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays and Tyler Stewart. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify or YouTube so you never miss an episode. Now, to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'll tell you right now, if this was a bear, then this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man. No, this wasn't no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
I found a gold mine. I think I know how we can do this. Yeah, I've had a little bit of a problem sharing my screen. So I'll show you this. A little bit of a problem. Whereas I wanted to know about the orb thing.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard about this, I was like, the hell does orbs have to do with Bigfoot? You know, orbs, you always associate orbs with ghost, you know, like hauntings and ghost stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out there's a really big group out there that's really pushing this.
Yeah.
So
I've actually seen, I've looked up some of the stuff myself, and it's actually a really big thing. With like orbs and Bigfoot or Sasquatch, it like goes hand in hand with like a lot of these accounts. Like everybody has their own like version of the Sasquatch and what they think is what they think it's flesh and blood or something supernatural or extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it's just so out there, even for me. But I go on YouTube now and I type in Bigfoot and orbs, and then I bring the filter down, and I mean, yeah, you're gonna see all these big names, you know, when you scroll down, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't put a lot of credence into
I watched that one.
this one.
Yeah.
Let me save that one.
We no longer know how to live.
Okay. But yeah, I keep seeing these, like, you know, big names and whatnot. I kind of decided on a criteria, like, if you have a TV show and
Yeah.
it's dedicated to finding something and it's been on for years and you haven't found anything, then I'm going to pass it over. So what I do is this. I go down here and I click, like, this month. And you find a lot of these guys with low view counts and not very high end or high end, not very like big channels, right?
Yeah.
8 views, 3 views, things like that. And I started to look through these, and these are actually showing me a lot more than than I really expected. Especially like this one here.
Mm-hmm.
The channel is called Bigfoot NY Todd. And he's got 6 subscribers, and he's got some crazy orb stuff going on in this video. Look at that. That's just
Yeah.
Crazy.
A lot of people were saying that it could be. Somebody said that. What was I actually saw it off of. This is the one that I like. I stumbled across it. I think it's called. The YouTube channel is called the Rocky Mountain Bigfoot organization. I think it's called, or Sasquatch organization.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. He was talking, it's this guy's, but they had like tree structures and stuff of that nature, but they had, like, he was trying to debunk, like, he's like, I had orbs caught on camera, and everybody keeps saying, like, oh, it's spider webs going across a trail cam, and like the fresh dew, like just trickling off that, and like I guess the infrared or whatever, how the trail cams work, are reflecting that light or some type of light off of it. And he even compared it to a spider web and had that, and it didn't look like that. But I've seen that, like, these orbs, there's some type of bug. I don't think it's the lightning bug or whatever it is called.
Yeah.
They're like moths or something. They just create this like weird, like, it looks like a little orb when they go into cameras and stuff. So I don't know. Some of the, some orbs look really, really definitive, but some of them are kind of transparent, and it's just, I don't know. Like, it's kind of a little wishy-washy.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting,
Yeah, it's interesting. But every time I've looked this up, they always say the same thing, that they're connecting this to extraterrestrials. I think I found one thing. I think I found an article that said that it was back in the 1973. I think this is the first kind of case that they said with orbs involved. But apparently these girls were out in the woods, behind their, I guess, like around their house, and they saw this creature, like ape-like creature, standing on standing on 2 feet, and its hair was white, but instead of like orbs floating around it, it said that it was carrying it.
Wow.
In its hand. And then they actually said that there was a UFO, an unidentified flying object, behind him. So they freaked out.
Okay.
They freaked out and ran back. They told their dad. Dad went out for about an hour, like haven't heard anything. But finally, he comes back, and he would not say anything. And then the story goes on that same night, in the hour that he was in the woods, they said that there's surrounding people, eyewitnesses, saying that they saw some kind of flying object hovering over the woods, and there was a beam of light coming down from that.
Wow.
Around the hour that apparently he, the father went into the woods.
Crazy. Okay.
So that's kind of like what, like, when we were starting to talk about orbs and stuff of that nature, I started to, like, once I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to dig into this. Like, I've heard this claim before about Sasquatch, and either I don't know if he is an alien, as some people think.
Yeah.
But just like how everybody says that they've had their own abduction.
Right.
Well, what's stopping these aliens from studying a primate that's actually, like, if they're studying us, you definitely know they're studying everything that's on this planet. And if Sasquatch, whatever you may think, if he's real or not, but if he is, you definitely know that they're going to be taking an interest in this guy.
Oh yeah. it's an incredible thing. I just read one earlier. A family was having kind of a little get together, and they had a barbecue going. They were grilling out. They were having a good time. Actually, there was I think they said there was 4 or 5 adults there, kind of just hanging out, having a few drinks, adult drinks. They had a few kids there. Everything was going great. They started hearing the crazy the hell scream. They started hearing that. They started getting nervous. They didn't know what it was. It was getting closer. One of the adults basically gets a single shot, like a takedown shotgun. You know what I mean? Just puts in a buckshot, and before he even gets a chance to fire it, he's just going to shoot it up into the air just to scare whatever it is off. A big ass log comes flying out of the woods and lands next to them. So he's freaking out. You know what I mean? They're whatever. They're panicking or whatever. He takes a shot into the air, and he's yelling, get out of here, get the hell out of here, blah blah blah. And it screams at him again, but this time they saw the orbs light up around it at the edge of the trees. And they said that they couldn't see its detail, but they could make out they could get the gist of the size of the thing. And they were reporting a 7 foot plus man or creature at the edge of the trees. But when the orbs lit up, they all freaked out, and he fired again. He shot another shotgun shell, bird shot up into the air, and he yelled again, get the hell out of here. And they said that this went on for a while, that it was screaming. It would change positions. It would go to different parts. It would throw rocks, throw things at them. They, all in all, it went from being a good, fun gathering to a night of living hell. You know what I mean? They said there's kids had seen it. The kids were crying, freaking out. They, all of them, nobody could fall asleep that night. They just stood up or stayed up and stayed awake and kept watch, and there was just this feeling of unease coming from their gathering. You know what I mean? And the detail that jumped out to me was the orbs again. Like here we go with this orb thing. What the hell is going on with these orbs, and why?
Yeah, I just keep going. That another thing that I have heard about orbs is that I don't know. I can't remember where this was. It's a famous park that they say that the laws of gravity are just on its skew. They say that you're going into a paradox or something of that nature. It's because they have this house that's slanted. I feel like everybody says that it's just the trick of the mind. It looks like it's going downhill, because if you look at it, it's like there's famous roads that it feels like when you put your car in neutral and let off the brake.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going uphill, but technically, if you actually take a look, you're actually going downhill.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a trick of the eye. But some people think that these, I can't say some. A lot of people think that these places are where the laws of physics is just flipped on its head.
Yeah.
And there's this guy that owns this place. Really need to find the place, the name of the place. But he's had some type of encounter with an entity of, I guess, Sasquatch nature.
Yeah.
And he says in this cabin, he only hears it in this cabin, and like it's like a slanted it looks like the cabin's been like slanted, and but it's weird. But he says that when he's standing in there, he can hear this like heavy like stepping, and it's just him in this building, heavy stepping, and it like he says it's like I guess like the feeling of like that type of creature around him.
Yeah.
And he says that he can hear it like walking around, and then he'll just kind of walk off. But what got me the most is that I saw the video. It's actually one of these documentaries that you could probably find on Prime.
No.
They were talking about it, and something flew across the camera. It looked like a moth, but it was glowing. It's broad daylight, glowing. So nothing was really reflecting, I guess. They were in a cabin, and it flew across the thing. I'm my skeptic side just says it's just a bug.
Yeah.
But then I just don't want to take it for what I see. There's something might be behind it, like some hidden story behind it. But a lot of people
we got to leave no stone unturned. Everything has to be looked at.
But they were saying that apparently Sasquatch can shapeshift. These Sasquatch can shapeshift into other creatures and orbs.
Okay.
So what I keep thinking is that we keep seeing these Sasquatches and the ones with orbs floating around them. Is that other Sasquatches or Bigfoot?
Okay.
So that piqued my interest. So I was like, maybe all these sightings that we keep seeing are these orbs that we're seeing in the just alone too. Are these some type of Sasquatch, but they just haven't materialized? Because yet again, there's other people that say that Sasquatch can go between dimensions.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. I've heard that before. The one thing that's getting me lately is going back to the facts by howtohunt.com. Steve read that one. We used when we did the cryptid theory the other day. We used a little clip of him reading that. Is when they said that they're elected leaders of the groups, and all I kept thinking, the word that popped in my head was shaman. Okay. And he said that those individuals have to be able to do all of these weird things that we're seeing. Mm-hmm. That they are considered the leaders, the spiritual leaders, and basically, the high priests of their culture, if they have one. And the one thing that just got me was like the other day when we were discussing the tree structures, what's the significance of the tree structures, right? Mm-hmm. And then you remember when I threw that whole just complete theory, just trying to paint a picture. I'm trying to use my imagination to get me closer. You know what I mean? Of in that guy's story, the guy who wrote in, he said that often they'll have a sort of like a teenager and a toddler in their family groups, a mother, a father, a teenager, and a toddler. And I thought, man, if you were gonna celebrate a coming of age for the teenager, then what about? Because these trees that they build these structures out of, they're big. We're not getting the scale half the time when we see a video of it. We're just seeing an interesting tree structure. I was out cutting timber down today, right? Mm-hmm. And I cut down a tree that was about 8 inches in diameter, and it fell and it landed against another cedar tree, and I could not budge it. It was just, we're talking just beyond my ability to move this thing, just way too heavy, right? So I started thinking, what if, the shaman makes the teenager build the tree structure to kind of show that he's strong enough and that he's smart enough to balance the trees together, and then they commemorate it. The screams we hear off in the distance, the crazy hell screams. What if to us it sounds terrifying, but what if to them it's a celebration, a rite of passage? You know what I mean? I know that's really out there, and I understand that none of this is corroborated at all. But again, sometimes I think in an investigation we have to use our imagination to think around corners. And when you get to a corner like this, we got on the one side of the corner we have Sasquatch that I'm pretty convinced it's a flesh and blood creature. And then you have around this corner, you take a sharp left and you got glowing orbs, and you still have the edge of the corner to deal with. How do they meet in the middle, and why? And I think that's where imagination has to help, you know. I'm not saying like we use imagination to, you know, fuel hoaxing. I'm just saying just theories, not hoaxes, you know what I mean? I don't want to encourage any more hoaxing. I'm getting really tired of filtering through the hoaxes, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's fatiguing.
I totally get that. Like, it's just like you gotta take everything in. Like, yeah, I know some of these things might sound crazy to a lot of people, especially like if you're on the fence with UFOs and you didn't believe in Sasquatch. Now somebody's jamming the two things together. Now you're like, I'm just done. Like, I just can't take this anymore. But I feel like you gotta take it like with some kind of you gotta listen to it. Like, why are they believing this? Or do you wholeheartedly believe that these people are crazy?
Yeah.
Or do they have some? I've always been told that even in fiction, there's always an underlying truth to it.
Exactly.
Like there's some type of truth behind it. Like, what about the horror movie, The Chainsaw Massacre? That was based around, what was it, Ed Gein or?
Ed Gein.
Yeah, like Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Like, there's something behind it. Like, it was embellished for TV, but there's something behind it. So, and I feel like a lot of these counters are embellished, but there is something out there. And I'm with you on that. I'm not just like piggybacking off you. I do believe that it's flesh and blood.
I think it's flesh and blood, yeah.
I think it's flesh and blood, but I don't know. Like, there's still some weirdness to a lot of these encounters, and like the orbs, and especially the UFOs. Like, I still believe too. I'm going to go on this. I'm probably leaning a lot towards the whole UFO, like aliens and Sasquatch. Because I believe that, like, Sasquatch is real, and I believe that aliens could have visit us, but I just can't put, like, I can't go around them not having an interest in the Sasquatch.
Yeah, why wouldn't they want to stop and study him? Oh.
Like, that's something that's crazy, like, because they're like, okay, this hasn't like, apparently, like, if you would see it from their point of view, too, maybe these, like, this species, like, they live for a long time, and they're like, it seems like these types of creatures actually moved forward, but a lot of their predecessors, like other people, like other species, kind of died off.
Right.
Oh, hold on a second. There's one right in the forest. Like, so they're like, what happened to him? Why was he? Why did he stay in the forest?
So you're saying that maybe they were here kind of checking in on us and saw one of those, like, wait.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know we still had those, you know?
Yeah, I thought a lot of them died off. I thought this is the species that thrived.
No. Really, earlier you said about everything's based, you know, even fiction's based in reality somewhere. It reminds me of a quote that I really love, and it's, to understand a country or a group of people, you have to know what they dream of. And, you know, it's like going to a foreign country and telling them about the Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. It's not real, but it's a part of our culture. Whether we like to admit it or not, our movies and stories that we love, and even Bigfoot and aliens, all of it, it's a part of our culture as a people. We enjoy the unknown, and we enjoy the mystery, and we also enjoy our fables. And all cultures have enjoyed their fables since they were able to even have fables. So to me, there's no difference in cave drawings on a, you know, from 100,000 years ago to Godzilla versus Kong on HBO Max. There's no difference to me. Back then, this guy was drawing on the wall, and he was drawing an elk, and he was like, "Oh, that's an elk." You know, I've seen that, and I want to draw it, and I want to see if I can make the picture happen on this rock. And you know, there's a wolf, and I'm going to draw him, and there's a bear. You know, and I have a feeling that they all sat around and they looked at these pictures and they enjoyed them, and it told a little part of their history. You know.
Yeah, I remember, I think you're the one that told me this. I haven't personally seen these pictures, like these cave drawings or any of that nature, but I have heard that there are cave drawings of like big hairy bipedal creatures like the Sasquatch, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find them.